Our last GNCC race was a classic as Kailub Russell tried to win it all on a 152 stroke. After a huge battle with Josh Strang, Russell had to pit. And Strang would go on to win his first Grand National cross-country event in 3 years. Are we set for a rematch today? Welcome to the biggest and the best Grand National cross-country race of all, maybe the best one ever. This is your AMSOIL Ironman GNCC. Biggest crowd of spectators we've ever had at an event, biggest crowd of racers we've ever had with over 2,300 entries. Kailub Russell has already wrapped up this year's AMSOIL GNCC Championship, but he's going to try to win the race today on a 152 stroke. A lot of riders want to stop him from doing that. It starts with Josh Strang, who beat him at our previous event. Strang on the Rocky Mountain ATV MC Yamaha. Watch out for Jordan Ashburn. He's been strong all year. And how about this guy? Alex Silvini, the world champion out of Italy, going to give GNCC racing a try for the first time today. And we've seen it time and time again. Those European riders can fly. And so can the fireworks as we celebrate a big grand finale to the 2014 AMSOIL GNCC season. This is all presented by Maxxis. It's an AMA National Championship. We will see how Russell does. Riding that 150, led a lot of laps at our last race in Ohio. Strang was able to edge him. Let's see if he can finish it off today. Starting it off, though, no surprise, Paul Whibley always gets starts on the AmPro NFAB Yamaha. He does it again today. Way to end it here. Paul Whibley, a lot of rumors that he is going through all his racing days in America to a close at the end of today. So Whibley getting grabbed the All Balls Racing hole shot. Battling behind him, he got Ryan Sipes on the Rockstar KTM in second. And I believe that's Charlie Mullins right there with him. Mullins in the white gear, Sipes in the black. Now just a few months ago, Sipes is out here racing the Lucas Oil Motocross National at this very facility and got third in a moto on a 450 in the mud. Likes this place. I don't even know where Russell is. That 150 really outgunned. A little bit different scenario with the motocross track and so much open stuff early here compared to what we had last week. So he's got his work cut out for him. Work is not cut out for Sipes. He's an ex-motocrosser. He loves this terrain. He's going after Whibley for the lead. And everyone else going to have to try to sort themselves out. You want to make passes, though, early here. A lot easier in the open stuff than it is in the tight woods. Sipes did it. Got past Mullins, got past Whibley. He's in the lead. Mullins is second. That's Silvini in third. I'm telling you, these European riders, they're ones to watch. Also, Russell Bobbitt on a Husqvarna. Very fast in the AMA National Enduro Series. Won championships there. He is up front early. The Enduro riders are always quick out of the gate, be they from Europe or the United States. We go back to XC2. That's where our young kids race on the 250cc bikes. Big battle for the whole shot here. Because this year's class champion, Grant Baylor, has moved up to XC1 today. So the door's open, and Nick Davis is going to grab your digitaloffroad.com shot. So he started off well. Davis, a couple of podiums this year, but is yet to win one. And you can tell that he and the rest of this XC2 pack realizes today could be the day, especially with Baylor out riding a 450 in the big class. Also a shout out to Justin Pooh Sipes, that's Ryan Sipes' brother, racing in XC2 today. He's raced a couple of these things in the past. Good battling up front early. Lane Michael on the RideMPS.com Honda trying to make a run here around the outside and uses that momentum to jump past Davis and take over the lead. Told you these kids would be aggressive with Baylor out. Let's see if Michael, born and raised in the GNCC ranks in the youth division, can grab a win today. It will also be a first for him. Back to the pro class. Mullins now leading Sipes. And a pretty big gap already. These two setting a blistering pace. That is Silvini in third. And bobbing. So the Enduro riders from Europe and the United States still doing well early. The Yamaha Brigade comes through. Kailub Russell came through next. He's pretty far back, though, about 6th, 7th place. That's Grant Baylor there. I mentioned moving up today. Josh Strang on a good start. The rider that won the last race in this series. So that's your XC1 field. Sipes getting it back from Mullins. Sipes, it's been a good season making the conversion over from motocross to GNCC, but it has not been spectacular. Back in the day, a lot of times these motocross guys would move up and they would just be ridiculous fast from the get-go. They'd lead a bunch of laps. They wouldn't necessarily win a race, but they'd have flashes of brilliance. I don't think it's that easy anymore. These off-road dudes, they don't pace themselves like they used to. So even someone of Sipes' caliber can't just go and take the measure of these guys for the first couple of laps. It's been tough on him at times, but he's persevered, and he's leading today. There's Bach, Andrew DeLong coming through, Russell. I saw the number 7 of Jordan Ashburn in there. That's been very strong this year. A lot of riders to watch, but right now Sipes, who, by the way, does not hail too far from here, lives in Kentucky, has got the lead and has really started to open it up. This is the kind of stuff we expected to see from Sipes all year. Took him to the last round to get it to happen, and it's Mullins and Russell now in 3rd. I believe it's the Yamahas coming through next, probably Whibley and Ashburn, then Takeshi Koikita. So we have lost Silvini from this group, and the word is he hit a water crossing similar to that, stuffed it in a rut, and did a full face plant. That's going to slow up his charge. And by the way, it's fall, as you can see with all the leaves that have come down from the trees. You don't want to get wet or muddy today. And that's pretty darn cold down there. Mullins trying to keep that FMF KTM chugging along in 2nd. And then Russell, his teammate, here in 3rd. And he's got to take different lines. Has to use momentum. Whibley still 4th. Ashburn coming through next. Ryan Sipes, yeah, getting some time in the lead here. Mullins closing it back up a bit, but this is cool to see Sipes running up front where we expected him to be for a good portion of this year. It has certainly been a learning process for him. The momentum was definitely not on his side right from the beginning of the year. We had an epic mud race in the 2nd round of the year in Georgia. Then we had another mudder in North Carolina. For a motocrosser converting over, that was tough. Looks like Josh Strang, by the way, has snuck into this group. He's right there with the Whibley and Ashburn now, right around 4th place, so don't count him out. Mullins continuing the charge up front. Sipes still right there behind him. If you're going to learn, Ryan Sipes, you're going to learn from one of the best here in Charlie Mullins. Not a bad guy to follow around. Former GNCC champion. He's won a ton of these races, going all the way across this hillside, trying to find the right line. And all the while, they better keep charging. Kailub Russell's up to speed on that 150. Racer TV is brought to you by AMSOIL, by Rocky Mountain ATV MC, and by Can Am. Ryan Sipes back to the lead here at the AMSOIL Ironman GNCC. And this is his wheelhouse. Now we're on to the motocross track, the Ironman track. Started construction on this thing about 3 years ago. Last year it was really beginning to take shape, and now it is a full-on national level motocross facility. And a few months ago, as we mentioned early in the show, Ryan Sipes was here doing his old thing on the motocross track. It was a muddy day, and he finished on the podium against the best motocross riders in the world. So he's got some confidence coming back out here for the cross-country race, putting it to work. Here's Kailub Russell, still 3rd. I mentioned it in our last race. He's going to get bounced around in that thing pretty bad. Suspension setup is, you're just never going to nail it on a lightweight, pipey 2-stroke like you would on a 4-stroke. These things are like Cadillacs. Even if you put the exact same suspension on them and then adjusted it as best you could, there's something about the weight and the power delivery of a 4-stroke. They just ride a lot smoother. So you're going to see Kailub bounced around a little bit more. Obviously, he has the advantage of the bike being lighter, so it doesn't sap your energy as much. But the big difference is horsepower and torque. He doesn't have near the motor these guys do. At our last race in Ohio, wasn't a factor, led plenty of the race. And by the way, he's going to auction that bike off at the end of the day today on the podium. The funds are going to go to Rory Mead, our good friend for the XC2 class, who unfortunately was paralyzed in a racing incident earlier this year. So this bike is up for grabs for someone. You get yourself a factory KTM 150, and who knows, it could be a race-winning bike. He's closing the gap up on Sipes. Here he is. So we got a three-rider fight for the lead, and quite an intriguing one. We told you Russell's story already. We told you Sipes' story. Then you have Mullins coming back from wrist injuries. Here's Strang up to fourth. He's cleared this whole group around Bach. DeLong is in the hunt. There's Ashburn. There's Koikita. And the always spectacular Stuart Baylor. Haven't seen much of Grant, Stewart's younger brother, today, making his XC1 debut. Still tight up front between these three. Sipes is seriously in the mix in this one, though. Gone back and forth with Mullins a few times, but you know Russell is fired up now that he's caught these riders. Look at these trails. There's a reason this is the most popular GNCC of all. This is beautiful terrain. Russell finds a line on the inside. Oh, I thought he had a shot at Sipes. Not going to have a shot out here. In these field sections, these 450s are going to eat him alive. He's got to go back to the drawing board if he wants to make a pass. Good battle for the lead. Russell trying to catch back up. Racer TV is brought to you by AMSOIL. By Rocky Mountain ATV MC. And by Can-Am. Kailub Russell has taken over the lead here at the Ironman GNCC. That is amazing. Was trying to set these guys up, get as close as he could in the woods. Sipes and Mullins pulled him in the open stuff, but Mullins had a problem. I think potentially, again, the pain in the wrist starting to come back. He has dropped the pace a bit. Sipes still second, Josh Strang third, and Kailub Russell trying to make some history here and win the race on the 150. Woo! Sipes got it stuck. I was going to say hold on to that. Try not to crash. He didn't crash, but he's in a bad spot. The camera never indicates. You see these fans. Look at how hard it is for them to get footing. This is practically like a cliff. So Sipes losing a ton of ground, and Josh Strang, the big benefactor, he's up to second. Kailub looking for a nice line at the bottom of this one, and a big run. Not easy to get those hill climbs on the 150. This is just a carbon copy of our last race in Ohio. A lot of riders dueling early. Several of them hold the lead. Russell finally gets through them. Oh, more problems for Sipes. That's what a 450 can do for you. Anyway, I was going to say, similar to our last race, Russell finally vanquishes appearing to be all the contenders, and then late in the race, Josh Strang gets to second and puts on a big charge, and we could have another showdown like that, another big battle for the win. That'd be exciting to watch. Russell doesn't want to let that happen. See if he can hammer down and keep Strang at bay this time. Been a good season for Strang, and he could end up second in series points if he has a solid finish today, battling it out with Jordan Ashburn for that spot, and Mullins back in the hunt now that he's returned to racing. But Mullins has lost a bunch of time. I think it's really going to come down to Russell and maybe Strang, but even Strang might be hard-pressed to get to the number one today. Russell just looking better and better. And time is running out. Look at the fans. They're saluting this effort. And again, it's actually done for charity. One lap separates Kailub Russell from winning on a 150. So Josh Strang really going to have to kick it into gear in this on the Rocky Mountain ATV MC Yamaha if he wants a shot at getting them. They were about wheel to wheel at this point at our previous race. Now Strang's got to hustle. And I'll give you the clock here in just a moment. Wow, the gap over a minute between them. So it's probably going to take a big mistake for Russell if you're Strang, you have to hope that maybe one of those hill climbs hangs him up, since he doesn't have the power on that 150. Maybe a lap rider gets him at the wrong time. I don't know if he can take him for finish on speed. Meanwhile, Sykes trying for his first career podium in off-road. Racer TV is brought to you by AMSOIL, by Rocky Mountain ATV MC, and by Can-Am. Kailub Russell on the verge of a huge win on a small motorcycle. You can hear Josh Strang really pushing, trying to get to him. But with over a 1-minute deficit on this final lap here at the AMSOIL Ironman GNCC, I don't think he can get it done. Sipes is in third on the Rockstar KTM. Also has the folks from WMR helping him build that bike. Wants to put it on the podium, but this would be the big story. Russell goes to the podium, picks a name out of a hat, donates the bike, gives the funds to his good friend Rory Mead. He's going to take a few dollars out of that to help pay his travel costs over to the ISDE in Argentina. But for the most part, the money's going to an injured rider. Kailub says might even set up a little charity account and do this more often. We'll have to see. Here is Strang in second, trying to hold strong. So Sipes in third can't get to him. Course is getting pretty rough now. I know these are prime conditions, but when you run 2,300 riders in conjunction with all the ATVs and the motorcycles throughout the weekend, bumps that were once minor little imperfections become huge holes. Ruts get deeper. The whole course just gets tougher, and Strang working his way down. It looks like a set of stairs as he works his way down that hill. A couple of lines to pick from at the bottom. Good run by Strang. Good season for him, looking at that number 2 plate for next year. And this is definitely something to build off of for Sipes, who does plan to be back for a second season of GNCC racing in 2015. But what kind of a statement is this? On the 150, Russell's lead is big enough now where even these field sections where he's at a disadvantage, it doesn't matter. They're not close enough to get to him. Just an incredible performance, and on a track that has all these big cornfields, I thought it'd be actually tougher for him to win than last time out in Ohio. He's just stepped his game up that much more. Strang has ridden well, there's no doubt about it, but not able to challenge for the win today like he did the last time. And you see Sipes, in some of these bigger sections, can still see Strang ahead of him. And when you can see them, you can push that much harder. But time is running out. We're onto the motocross track for the last time. The 152 stroke is being raced by Kailub Russell for the last time. It'll be someone else's bike in about a half hour's time once our podium celebration is complete. What an amazing season it has been. 2 straight GNCC titles. Goes with a pair of titles in the XC2 class for Russell. He is quickly becoming the hottest property in all of American off-road. And this win is going to help stamp that a huge lead. Listen to it. Revving the 2-stroke out, Kailub Russell wins the Ironman. Didn't even have much 2-stroke big bike experience. Obviously rode the 2-strokes in the youth ranks. I think he tried a 125 a few times about 5 years ago when he moved into the XC2 division just for a few races, and was basically on a 250 4-stroke, then the 350 4-stroke. So amazing he was able to adapt to that bike that quickly. Look at Sipes pushing right down to the end, keeping Strang honest. A good sign for the future for Sipes. Huge improvement from the beginning of the year to the end, but not enough to beat 2 very established riders who have won this title before. Russell and Strang 1-2 today. Sipes going to be very proud of the ride to finish up on the podium for the first time. And he's got a lot of locals here cheering on that performance. Russell talking it over with the RacerTV.com live crew. There's Strang and Sipes. Here's Sipes. Happy about the way this one ended. Absolutely. Expect more big things for him next year. Here's your AMSOIL results. DeLong and Stuart Baylor round out the top 5. Grant Baylor in his debut in the class, 9th. Mullins, as we said, dropped back. He finishes in 10th. And by the way, this should be the swan song for Paul Whibley, the great 2-time champion of this series, headed back to New Zealand next year. Nick Davis gets that XC2 win that he wanted over Michael. And Craig DeLong, fresh out of the amateur ranks at 250A, puts it up on the podium. Scott Grill, Sammy Evans round out your top 5. Those are AMSOIL results. And here is your AMSOIL race recap. Paul Whibley, final run here in GNCC Racing, and fittingly, he grabs his patented hole shot. It'd soon be a battle between Charlie Mullins and Ryan Sipes for the lead in this one. Josh Strang would move his way up after a bad start and getting contention. Sipes and Mullins, it looked for the first half, and they might be the guys to beat today. But then Kailub Russell once again got into the groove, and the little 2-stroke took the lead from them. He's just unstoppable no matter where we race, no matter what he rides. Absolutely the hottest property in American off-road. It's a great season. Congrats to Kailub Russell.